I'll never forget your quote. It's like or what is it? Perfection equals poverty.
Perfectionism
Um,
equals poverty. Yeah.
yeah, perfectionism equals poverty. I always remember that when I was doing the course because like I was trying to make things perfect and I wouldn't get anywhere. But then I was like, oh, maybe I just have to take the action, you know, just create a WordPress website, even if it doesn't look very nice, you know.
There it is, man. There it is. If anything, I was thinking of doing like, if I'm always thinking of doing another course, and I didn't really want to do another technical course or anything on marketing, but you know, the mindset component for a lot of people. The problem is I don't know. I don't know if a lot of people really understand that they need help with the mental part.
This is kind of a personal thing, but like I started seeing a therapist like uh back in like 2019, and I think that was like the one of the best decisions I've ever made because like I think I was able to like dismantle like some of the negative thoughts I was having behind like certain ideas, and that's definitely, I think that's definitely come up in your career, like this imposter syndrome thing, especially when you're starting out a new job or learning a new skill. But like what I've found is like if you're just able to trust yourself in the process and like be okay not knowing everything, um and figuring out, like I think eventually that syndrome will actually go away. Because like I think my first week at Proctor and Gamble, like I think all of the people that were training with me were like really scared, and they're like this guy that's training us is going too fast. But like now it's the fifth week, and I'm like, this is actually not hard, not too hard. I can handle this. I can do this.
That's great, man. Do you mind if I put that in the interview, or is that too personal? It's up to you.
No, that's okay.
Okay. I mean, about the therapy and everything.
Yeah, that's no. I'm pretty passionate about mental health, so I I don't mind.
Oh, good. Good. Yeah. I'm glad you said that, man, because it's kind of, I haven't made videos for a while myself because I've been taking care of myself. I had a breakup recently and I had to do some, and I'm also alone on this island, which is
Oh
to
wow,
have,
where are you?
I'm in Thailand, you know,
Oh
which is,
wow, Chiang Mai.
no, I'm in, well, okay. So I can't really complain, man. I'm on an island in the south of Thailand called Koh Samui, and it's beautiful here, you know. It's like Hawaii, it's just Thailand, and it's a little dirtier than Hawaii, and a little less expensive, thankfully. But yeah, I was here with my girlfriend, and it was that was pretty intense experience. I don't really talk about much, but we broke up, and so I'm here by myself essentially. And
Oh wow.
and I was supposed to, you know, visit my family. I can't go home, you know. I could come back to the U.S., but it would be very difficult, and I don't really like what's going on in the U.S. right now. Um,
Yeah, agreed.
it's not, and I wouldn't be able to come back. It would be very difficult for me to come back here. Whereas my plan was to visit my family for 2 weeks in July, and you know, see my parents and my new niece, and so you know, I've had to really take care of myself, and I've, you know, been making new friends and dating here, which has been great. But, you know, there was a while where I was like I'm dealing with a breakup and I'm like totally isolated.
That's like the worst thing, man. That's terrible. Like, yeah, I feel like I agree. Like, I think the best thing is like start arranging some like Zoom calls with your friends or start doing some meetups or, yeah, you don't want to be alone by yourself during this time.
Yeah, I've been making much more of an effort, and that's always been one of my weeks. But I've been debating whether I would share. You know, when you have a YouTube channel or any type of influence, like I'm like, how much do I want to? I pretty much just stuck with digital marketing and positive mindset. But I struggle. Like people don't think of this about me because I'm so extroverted on the channel, but I've struggled with, you know, being isolated and being alone throughout my whole adult life, you know. Like I can be really good at making friends and really outgoing, but then I can also get really introverted. and
I see.
and yeah, so it took something for me to, I had to like, you know, I've made an effort to like schedule these calls, and even doing these interviews has been really good. But it's been something I've thought about talking about that on the channel, about things like mental health, because it's nowadays it's just like the only topic, you know, because of the state of the world. Like,
Right, right. Well, I mean, I think a lot of people think it's like there's a negative stigma behind mental health, and I think especially amongst like men, I do believe that's true because like, you know, men are supposed to be this like pillar of strength, and we're supposed to always have things together, especially if we're in a relationship. But like I think if we're able to like tell our story in a way where like we were able to overcome that, like maybe talk about a dark moment, but now I'm out of it and I'm a better person, then I think that that's actually powerful and actually can be like a huge value add for like you and your
right.
brand. Or
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I used to, you know, I've told that story about how I was homeless in my 20s and just a miserable, and but it always has a nice happy ending. I think the problem with the COVID situation for people is that it's still ongoing. It's not like, well, I went through the crisis, it was so challenging, and now look at me. It's like, fuck, we're still dealing with this. But
exactly. Okay,
how old are you?
got you.
You're like
I'm 30.
30. I thought you were 30. And yeah, man, you've matured a lot in the last couple of years. So that's awesome. I'm really happy you saw it, you know, took care of your mental health.
Yeah, I mean, uh, I mean, I think you definitely were spot on. You're like, you seem like someone that works really hard, and like I do that, and like that's one of my values. But I think sometimes it definitely gets the best of me.
Yeah, when we were talking, I noticed you had I think it's good you're authentic, but you had like maybe you had kind of a look, like your resting face was kind of like you're
Yeah, yeah,
walking into a fight or something. If you watch the video, do you ever look at yourself? Like I look at my own
yeah. I
face.
mean, like I kind of have like a resting bitch face. I'm not sure why,
Yeah.
but yeah. I mean, I actually am pretty chill, but like, yeah, that's just maybe that's like from my childhood. Something happened. But like I was always into like sports and stuff, and um, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure.
You were into sports.
Yeah, like I wrestled, I played soccer.
Competitive. So you're competitive. Yeah. So that's the look.
Yeah, like in my spare time, I like to do like powerlifting right now. So yeah, it's I'm always trying to push myself. And
That's
maybe it
cool.
comes off in my like face or something. I don't know.
Well, I think when we talked, yeah, you kind of have to warm up to the person you're talking to. Like now your face looks a lot more relaxed, and we've talked about mental health and stuff. And but it still communicates. Like I've done a lot of these interviews, and I used to have the same problem where I'd be, even in the beginning, like I'd think, oh, this isn't gonna be perfect, but people appreciate authenticity, I think. Um, I might even post this whole interview separately. Like I'm gonna cut it down because it's over an hour, but I'll
Yeah.
probably post the whole. People like to see the background conversations. Um, that is, it's an interesting lesson for me as an interviewer, because you definitely look more like relaxed now.
Yeah, I mean, if you looked at me like a couple of years ago, like I think I had more of a resting bitch face. So I think maybe it's the fact that I started taking more care of my mental health that like that started going away or something. Um,
Yeah, it is 100%, dude. The mental health is. You're right. I mean, even for myself, like there's a stigma around it, and unfortunately, because of that, like one of my mentors pointed this out. He's like, if you were physically sick, if you got sick, would anybody judge you? If you're like, hey man, I have a cold. Oh man, I have a sore throat, or oh, I have a stomach ache. No one's gonna look at you like with judgment. They're gonna be like, okay, you know, get some rest. But if you have some kind of mental illness, like slight mental, like oh, I feel a little depressed today. Oh, I feel a little anxious. You know, it's the same thing as like a sore throat with your mental, but because it's mental, yeah, people will look at you like, oh, are you okay? You know, it's like very different way of looking at it.
Yeah. And I think it's funny when they say, "Are you okay?" Because that perpetuates that narrative that you're not okay, right? Like if you want someone to feel better, you don't say, "Are you okay?" You should say like, it's like, "Oh, you're." It's like you point out something awesome about them. Like it's like, "Wow, that thing you did back there with those ads, man, you just you killed it that day." Or like you don't say like, "Are you okay?" Because that the intentions of that is like, "Oh, there's something wrong with this person."
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of neuroses around it. You described like that was something I had to learn too. Is where I grew up. Like if you talk something to death, you know, if you have a little problem, like you can make it even worse. Sometimes by talking about it, or like you said, like asking if you're okay, or it's almost like I had to learn. That was another part of, I don't know, being an adult or being a man, or just learning like when I want to share and when I want to not share or focus on things. Cause like this year, there've been a lot of challenges, and I've been like, realized a lot of times the best thing you can do is relax and let it go. Whereas I think when I was younger, I used to like take a problem. I had a ton of female friends when I was younger, and this is all we would do. I would see how women, you know, there'd be like, you'd have a little problem and you just talk it to death.
Yeah, this chatty catty or whatever. Yeah.
Well, it's a little bit like, I don't want to say talk therapy, but yeah, like, you know, yeah, asking if somebody's okay can come from two different places. Like I
Yeah.
say that to my mom actually. We talk about that because I was like, you know, when I ask them, I'm like, hey, what's up? How you doing? And if somebody says like, oh, we had a car accident, of course I'll say, are you okay? But my mom would always say, is everything okay? Like moms do, you know,
Oh, I see.
just in
Yeah.
general. Like, yeah, of course it's okay. Why wouldn't it be okay? You know?
Yeah, it's like the context. Like that's like, like a mother to a child, whereas well, the other one is like in a crisis moment kind of thing. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And I think,
but yeah, I think what you were saying earlier about like just not, you're saying maybe just to not talk about it. I agree. Cause like, I have a brother and like, we get into arguments a lot. And like, I think the quickest way I noticed to resolve challenges is just maybe just like go upstairs or just if we're talking about something, just hang up or on the phone.
oh,
Um, yeah, instead of like perpetuating and say like, okay, hey, I gotta go. Um, Instead of like having this like 20-minute argument, it turns into an hour and keeps going. So,
yeah, I think if you're in like an emotionally charged conversation, like I mean, again, it's just subtle. That's the thing. Like, I've been doing like spiritual growth and mental health work for 20 years, and I'm like, it's so vast. The things we don't, most people, and this is like most people just completely ignore this aspect of life and drink. It's just
yeah,
so common. But like what you were just saying is like, yeah, I mean, there's a difference between having like an honest to goodness argument, which can be a really good thing, versus an emotionally charged kind of unconscious acting out of, things, which just sounds like I used to have that with my mom. Like we would argue all the time when I was younger, and it was just completely unconscious. Um, and I did the same, a similar thing. Like I would exit the conversation. I said I just tell my mom at one point. I love my mom now. We get along great, but I would just say like, I'm ending the conversation, or we're not going to have these discussions anymore.
right,
Um,
exactly.
depending on the situation. I mean, obviously, if you're in a relationship, then I had the other side of that where I was dating somebody and she would never talk about. We would, I did a couple of people where they would never want to talk about shit we needed to talk about.
Oh wow, damn.
It's like passive aggressive. Like
Yeah, that is.
avoiding.
Um, Yeah, I feel like when you do that, the best way to deal with that is not to like force it. It's like out of them and like do things that like trigger the other person. Because like I think everyone knows like some stuff that gets to you, right? That's like and you don't. I think my brother he purposely says things like when I'm really emotionally charged, he's like, you seem like you're triggered right now. I'm like, that's one thing you don't want to say to the other person, like when they're in a charged moment. Like you have to know how to like calibrate and like maybe push back. It's like, be more tactful when you talk.
Yeah, depending on the relationship, you know. But yeah, sibling and family relationships can definitely like yeah, I was similar with that with my mother for years. I mean, it was automatic. Couldn't couldn't stop the train. And then as I got more mature and more centered, I was able to take a breath and be like, whoa, whoa. Then it just became strange. I was like, why are we arguing?
Yeah,
I started to
you're
laugh. Like,
non-reactive. Yeah.
yeah, I was like, that's really, I mean, the greatest strength you can have. I this year has really pushed me, and I think everybody to, you know, strengthen up. And I do think there's something to stoicism and being tough. Um, it's just there's a lot of, yeah, it's like everything else in life. Our education system is so terrible. We're just not given the tools we need. Um,
Yeah.
but speaking of which, I'm gonna run. I gotta have some breakfast and meditate and do all that stuff. So
Oh, yeah. I didn't know you were that into spirituality. I did see your hikes, like talking about meditation, and I'm super passionate about it. Yeah, too. So like, if you ever want to talk, because I've done like a 10-day retreat, and I meditate every day. So that's
did you do
awesome. You do that.
Vipassana
Yeah, I did a 10-day Vipassana retreat.
with Gonke, essay in Gonke, the silent the 10 days of silence, where you go to the. That's awesome, man. I did
It
that.
was honestly like one of the hardest things ever. Like,
It's harder than anything. It's harder than a fucking marathon, I think.
yeah, it's
We should
very slow.
yeah, I did it in like 2005 and was not disciplined afterwards, but I did get through it.
Yeah,
Do you do it every day, the full hour of sitting?
I used to. I just do like, so there's like a 30-minute recording. I think it's like Anapana. Um,
On the
I
pump.
just do that, and
That's
so
awesome.
sometimes I can't make it to the 30 minutes. So I just do like 10. Like before
Yeah.
this call, I actually meditated for like 10 minutes. So
Okay. That's yeah, I love that guy. Anapana meditation.
yeah,
You're sitting in the room thinking, what is this other person thinking? That guy, like after the day of
right.
meditation, his like discourses are so hilarious. Everyone was laughing.
Yeah,
That was that's good. That's inspirational, man. Because I can be super undisciplined um with with my meditation. You know, I used to be hardcore. I would like do 2 hours of yoga and 2 hours of meditation.
oh wow, that's
But
crazy.
but I discovered, I mean, it's life is so like you can like you're in life to live, and I used to escape from life with meditation. Like that's what
Oh, I see.
I was kind of isolating, and so now I'm more connected, but it's definitely it's definitely a great practice. Yeah, man, it's been great talking about this. Maybe I will add some more content like this to the channel or go after. I you know I used to do healing work, and I was a massage therapist back in the day, and I turned away from it because I didn't. Well, at the time, I didn't understand my value or marketing, so
Uh,
I went all the
man,
other direction into digital marketing because I was like, I'm fucking not gonna be broke anymore.
I see. So yeah, I was like, I actually was. That's something that, like that's really cool. I think you would have a lot of followers be interested if you talked about that more. I'm interested in that field.
In mental health. or in
Yeah, mental
spirituality.
health and spirituality, 100%.
Yeah, maybe I have this mentor. I've had two mentors who are fucking amazing, and they're no, you never heard of them. Like I found these guys when I was 20, and I felt like I found Yoda. Um, this one guy, Joseph, um, uh, he's still teaching and doing sessions, and these guys changed my life. And I love that. Not just Joseph, another guy named Michael, who are what I love about them is that they never I almost never hear from them the same shit you hear on like Instagram or from whoever the fuck is the latest influencer, like the mainstream conventional thinking.
Right.
They'll usually say something that's the complete fucking opposite or just something cut right through the truth. And they used to call me on my bullshit. Like that's why I would go to them because
Wow.
they'd be like so fucking direct and honest. Um, and yeah, I've thought about sharing that type of thing. I mean, I've been working with this one guy for 20 years now. It's crazy. I can't believe it's been 20 years. It's fucking,
Jeez, that's crazy.
I met him when I was, Jesus, I was 20. So he's seen me change over 20 years. That's pretty nuts to see. Like I can see you change in 3 years. And,
Yeah.
but I've always felt like with him, I wish his messaging was more, because I feel like a lot of the mainstream mental health stuff, it's not bad, but it's a lot of it's very superficial and and a lot of it's bullshit. Like, I mean, there's a lot of bad advice and bad coaches out there.
Yeah, that's true. Um, yeah, I think you have to find the right mental health uh therapist. Like I've been working with this guy from like betterhelp.com, and I think he helped me get on the right path, but like I just can't. I feel like I'm at a different point now. Like, he was maybe good for me when I was getting into this stuff, but I feel like I need a different person now.
That's great. Well, I'll send you a link to my mentor's stuff. Like he's pretty unique. Um, but that's a really good point. Like I actually, when I was 20, I probably should share this because I can't even like relate to this now because it's so long ago and I'm so different, but I was like suicidal around 20.
Oh, wow.
I was so miserable and anxious and unhappy and sick. I was sick physically and I had acne. I mean, I was just dealing with, and there's a lot of deeper causes of these things, spiritual, ancestral, that we don't recognize. And it took something for me to even see a therapist. I was so embarrassed. Um, like you said, like I felt like I should have my shit together. I'm 20. I should have it all figured out.
It's pretty early to have your shit together.
I know, but when you're 20, I hear from 20-year-olds all the time. We think that. And I remember going to see this therapist and I was so nervous and my parents were actually really nervous. They're like, "Oh, she's going to blame us for everything," which she pretty much did, but not really blame, but
Right.
and then I worked with her for 6 months and then that's when I met Michael, the first spiritual, but it was the same thing. Like I couldn't have kept seeing her. It was very slow progress. It was really, really essential for the beginning to like get me opening up. But
Right.
I can see like there's certain people where it's like if you're in therapy for like 20 years with the same person, you're not really growing. It's like
Yeah.
um but yeah, man, we can keep talking about this, but I gotta go
Yeah. Sounds
practice some.
like it's funny that it's the morning because like I'm about to go to bed. I know
I know.
it's yeah,
I
it's like
will.
9:30.
I woke up at like 6:30 and I was like, oh my god, I I have to get up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
man. All right, well, let's stay in touch. And I'll let you know if I make any videos or want to chat again
Yeah,
about.
let me know when you post this, and I'm honestly cool with you posting everything. Like I'm pretty authentic. Like I don't have anything to hide. Um, and yeah, cool.
Sounds good, man. All right, we'll talk soon.